Hello buddies, Kagi with you, and today is the long-awaited release of Pros and Cons. Yes, we took a little break, but let's cut to the chase now. And today we feature the Kawasaki ER-6. It's a notable bike, it's quite popular, it's the bike that debuted in 2006. It basically succeeded the ER-5. It's pretty much the same bike, same concept, but it no longer meets the Euro 3 conditions, hence they decided to upgrade. All in all, it received some cool enhancements like more power. It now has 72 horsepower, bearing 65 Nms against previous 50 horses and 45 Nms. And it's notable, by the way, that two versions were issued. There was a naked and a fully faired one. In Europe, the naked one was popular. In America, on the contrary, the faired one. That's a curious thing to note. Another cool thing is the solo shock absorber, which is shifted to the right side. Perimeter frame, traditional telescopic fork. In 2007, based on the ER-6, Kawasaki versus 650 was born, which is a sort of crossover. Among the competitors, there's the Honda NC 700NC 750, Gladius Suzuki, by the way, an intriguing moped we might review, and the MT. Let's proceed to the pros and cons of this motorcycle, starting with the cons. The first downside is the weak spot where the engine is attached to the frame, and the seams in these areas often crack. This is not a structural feature of the frame, but the problem lies with the mounting lugs. They are too thin. This applied up until including the 2007 model, so if you have a 2007 motorcycle, take extra care. The second downside is the leaky pump oil seal. Basically, this is fairly rare in motorcycles when the pump oil seal leaks, but I know at least two motorcycles. That's the Kawasaki ER-6 and the KTM 990 Super Duke, where the pump seals are somewhat weak, but generally, if you see leaks, the first thing, you need to check the pump seals. The third and main disadvantage, the major downside, which is why I wouldn't consider this motorcycle. For some reason, this is a valve breakage to years beyond 2011, that is 2011, 2012, 2013. There was a whole story about the fact that one exhaust valve, it falls off, falls into the engine and breaks everything that is there. If I find photos, I will definitely post them. Even in the manual in 2011, 2012, 13, there was initially a different part number of the valve. After they got Kawasaki reviews on the fact that the valves break, they replaced it with a more worn out one. This is a very important problem. It encounters again in motorcycles that are older than 2011 on mileages of about 20,000 km. Also pay attention, owners. The 3000 is a new version of ABS. Yes, this is Kawasaki. We don't need to invent any perfect companies doing good because nobody is going to operate at a loss. Of course, the quality of the metal, the quality of the components, it's appropriate. Yes, it has poor suspension, weak brakes to be frank, and honestly a poor headlight. There are many who complain about the headlight, many who complain about the discomfort of the throttle, that is. That is, the throttle grip is too long, the discomfort of the clutch as well, but that's all because of the fact that the motorcycle is budget. That is, you shouldn't have any high hopes for it. This motorcycle is not a flagship. It was practically one of the cheapest motorcycles in the lineup of Kawasaki. Well, we got 5 disadvantages. Now let's move on to the pros, and there are more pros, much more, and I like this motorcycle, but I'll tell why later. And the first advantage is affordability. As we mentioned earlier, it's both a minus and a plus. The advantage is that you can now buy this motorcycle for 250,000 rubles. You can buy it around 2010 to 2011 with as little as 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers traveled, making the motorcycle very cheap for its price category, for its segment. The second advantage is ABS. Starting on used models, you are now able to get a motorcycle with ABS for 250,000 rubles. I highly recommend people who are just starting to engage in motorcycle movement, and not only to buy motorcycles specifically with ABS, because ABS is the feature that helps you not mess up in case of anything. That is, you should brake like on any other motorcycle. You can't rely on ABS and slam on the brakes, but ABS is that parachute that can save your life. It's very important to remember. The third advantage is the engine. Yes, its engine is an inline twin. It almost has 70 horsepower and 65 nanometers. This is a very good indicator for the city. That is, it practically has all the benefits of a V-twin, all the benefits. The straight 2 is generally one of the best configurations for a city motorcycle. The fourth advantage is reliability and simplicity. Yes, I already mentioned that there are some problems with the engine mounts, pump seal and valve rupture, but this is a unique case for some. And if you do this, then you can forget about any technical problems, because the motorcycle itself is quite simple. In itself, it is simple enough. There are no super technologies because it is cheap. Everything is done here as usual. Everything was routine. The metal is weak somewhere, but this doesn't affect it if you use it for its purpose. That is, it is just a SUV and a motorcycle on which you learn. It is reliable, it is really simple. Maintenance is quite simple. It has a huge radiator, it does not overheat. Everything in this plan is good. The fifth plus is manageability and dimensions. The motorcycle is narrow enough, and if you look at its dimensions, they are small. It's good to ride a motorcycle because it's an inline 2, so the engine itself is even. The engine is narrow and it performs well in the city, in the metropolis, in traffic jams, considering it also has low-end torque, which is just superb. And the sixth and final advantage for today, there are a lot of advantages, but we're going to emphasize the sixth one. And oddly enough, the sixth advantage is the sixth gear. Yes, actually the sixth gear. It's a really cool thing. So many people underestimate it, but people who have ridden 5-speed motorcycles with an engine capacity of 600 and above, even 400, they understand that, hell yes, the sixth gear is very much needed. You can really feel it when you ride a 5-speed. From this gearbox, I want to switch like on my Brozo Buell, by the way, with 5 gears total, and the 6th gear is quite nice considering the bike is rather budget friendly. That's the review of the pros and cons of this motorcycle, the Kawasaki ER-6. Of course, I personally prefer the ER-6 N version from 2009, and either older or younger, how should I say it? Younger is more correct. The motorcycle is excellent. I've repeatedly told you that I recommend starting with motorcycles that have around 50-60 horsepower, because otherwise you won't experience the speed, dynamics, acceleration, and this is the motorcycle that I would truly recommend. Everybody should start their acquaintance with motorcycles. If you don't have specific preferences, like I want sports, I don't want sports, I want a cruiser, not a cruiser. If you don't know, then here's a Kawasaki ER-6. Look at the cons, look so as not to break the valve, watch the pump gasket, and take the version with ABS. This is a motorcycle that will teach you everything, teach you acceleration, teach you a quite pleasant ride, and even you can go on a short or long distance trip with it. Thanks for watching. That's a comment I liked. I want to tell you about one thing that we came up with here. There will be a VK group in the description link. Go to it, there's a vote. We decided that we will choose the next motorcycle by voting. That is, in every video, we'll choose all the comments with motorcycles that have gotten enough likes. Which one to review? We put it to a vote, of course, if it wasn't there or if it didn't win. But thank you for watching, everyone. Happy holidays. I hope you've rested, and now we're getting to work. Bye bye.